Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on with a brand new camp? So, I have built a little restaurant, as you may have noticed, down in Charleston, and I am really happy with how this one came out. My sort of headcanon for this is it's either a sort of Quintino's business branch opening in Charleston, or possibly just somebody who happens to share the same name. You'll see why in a minute. But yeah, it's come together really nicely. There's a few really cool ideas, and it seemed kind of appropriate for the Valentine's season that we have going on at the moment. So, let's just take a quick look at where we are on the map to begin. Here we go, over in Charleston. We've got a few of the major landmarks around there. Charleston Station is the closest point. This is at the end of the little sort of block of shops that's just outside the station that is quite a popular corner to build on. Speaking of, there we go. Built on top of that block before now, and many people have built around the other end as well. I decided to come down to this end because it kind of feels like a better fit to stick a building on the end that looks like it was here all along, which is what we're going for. Got a foundation in already, and we are going to put a 3x4 on here in total, and I'll add a couple of extra individual blocks during the decoration phase so I can fit a bathroom and a sort of pantry on the back, but we'll worry about that later. For now, 3x4 is the core of it. You need to make sure, if you're building in this spot, that you are just about far enough back from that sort of wall with the railing on the top there to fit the stairs in. As you can see, we kind of step back a little bit here, and it's because those front stairs just would not fit in. It's also raised up a little bit so that it'll get over the not entirely even ground there. So, we're going to start with these rustic greenhouse walls. Any of the greenhouse walls will do, but I went for the rustic ones. The idea there was actually from a pawn shop build that I saw on Reddit recently that used similar sort of principle in the corner. It was actually around the other end of the block and looked very moody and very cool. So have a rummage around on the Fallout 76 settlement Reddit because there's some very cool stuff in there. But I sort of took that idea and thought it'd be really cool for a restaurant, so I kind of expanded it out and took it down that road instead. So, staircase in the back there because we're going to have a flat up over the front of the restaurant for whoever happens to own and operate this place. And getting a wall underneath the stairs here, especially a double-sided one, is awkward. First time I did this, I had to do the stairs and the floor above first and then put the wall in afterwards. This time, it was the other way around. Because consistency. I don't know, I don't get it, but that's just what happened this time. So, yeah, play around with it and change your build order if it's not working the way you'd expect. Then you can get up top like this and have double-sided walls so that we can wallpaper both sides. So, just a 3x2 up the top here. It'll actually be a 3x almost 3 by the time we're done. Because we're going to have a bathroom just over here. So there's 2 more to go on. There we go. And we're going to double side here so we can have wallpaper in the bathroom and in the living room. And now, we're going to have to move this staircase all the way over to this side. Fortunately, it cooperates, because I need some double-sided walls there for the doorway, and also for the end of the bathroom here. So, the stairs get in the way of putting those double-sided walls in, so hence the need to move them. But once they're in place, everything should be okay. Looking good. I realise this is quite fast, by the way. I'm trying to keep the video to a sensible length. There's a couple of bits you'll see in the tour that I haven't demonstrated here that I might cover in a future video. But if you do want to go back through this a bit more slowly, YouTube provides that handy cog icon that you can use to slow the video down if you want and enjoy the weirdness of me talking really slowly. But hopefully you should be able to follow along okay. Got some walls in up top here, windows front and back, no windows on the sides. And we're going to have sloped roofs at the back here, sloping up towards the flats. Now, I've gone for the copper roof there. I'm actually going to end up swapping these out for the ones that come with the Responders building kit, which is the brick set that we're using here. The basic vanilla building set will work just fine, the brick one, if you want to go for that, or if that's what we've got available. But this Responders one does come up in the Atomic Shop from time to time, and I do quite like it. So, it's kind of got the right colour for the buildings in the area as well, which is why I went for it. But yeah, keep an eye on the Atomic Shop if you haven't got this one. But, as I say, we'll be swapping out to these roofs because they match the set and they match the rest of the sort of buildings in the area a little bit better than some of the other options I had to play around with. So, jumping on a little bit there because I messed around for quite a while to make a decision. One of the issues with this roof set is that we don't effectively have a full set of pieces for it. We've got these corner ones, but there's only one sort of set of corner pieces, so they only face one way. You can rotate them, but the beams underneath end up facing weird angles. They don't all line up on the inside if the roof matches up on the outside. And if they match up on the inside, then you can't necessarily have the complete set on the roof on the outside. In this case, it looks better to have the roof on the inside match up and just kind of leave the sides without a kind of lip on it. Just because it ends up the whole thing looking a little bit neater there, so that's what I've done. But yeah, keep an eye on that. And there we go. There is our building at the end of the row, looking more or less like it belongs. Got a few triangles to plug here. One on either end, nice and easy. Just change these walls out.
The scorched or the ferals don't get you, the rads will.
There we go. And we'll wallpaper these later on. Nip into the bathroom here. What will be the bathroom. There we go. And up next, I need to put double-sided triangles above the door there. So we can get this out of the way. And to do this, I need to use the basic vanilla brick set, because this will allow me to do this. Other sets don't really work for it so well. Now we'll drop one in, grab the flamethrower trap. You get that from the main Scorched Plague quest line following the Overseer if you progress through that storyline. Eventually, it's a fair way through. We're dropping that in. We've destroyed one of those walls. We'll put the second one in now, repair that first one in, and now we can replace them with whatever we like and therefore have matching double-sided ones, which actually kind of doesn't matter. It's just sort of the eave there that will be an issue. Was it fascia board, I suppose? Actually.
Sunny makes a good hoagie.
But there we go. If they match up, I know in my head it's right, and anything that shows should look right. At least I will want to swap those roofs out, which I will have to do in a bit. There we go, get that wall back in. Realise I've actually got a spare one now. And that basically is all the building done. So, I'm going to head off and decorate this, and we'll take a detailed tour in just a sec. And here we go, one decorated tour of the new Quintino's restaurant in Charleston. And yeah, I like the look of this, it's pretty cool. Got little awnings over the front, sign, and I think it tucks on the end of the row quite nicely and looks more or less, about as close as we're going to get, like it actually belongs here on the end of the row, like it was always there. It's a bit oddly not quite as destroyed as the rest of it, but we'll skip over that. Maybe it's been done up in the years since the bombs initially dropped. I'm going to make our way down the steps here. I really wanted to use the roses that are in the Valentine's bundle at the moment on the Atomic Shop to kind of dress this up. But unfortunately, I can't get those separately. They're only available in the bundle, and I don't want the rest of the bundle, really. So that's a little bit annoying. I might see if I can acquire them independent of the bundle in future, but for now I'm a bit disappointed about it. The one thing I wanted the most and would make the most use out of, because it's not so seasonal, and I can't get it without everything that is seasonal. Which is not really surprising, I suppose. So, heading on side, here is my restaurant. I'm so pleased with how this has come out. Those flowers, incidentally, roses, tulips and daffodils, none of which are actually involved in making the flowers. It's a whole bunch of stuff from around the map to make those things, and it's kind of a nightmare to pick them up. They're in weird places and they're hard to find. Well, slightly awkward to find anyway. And I needed 11 of them, so yikes. But there we go. Candles and flowers for our nice little restaurant. Should be a reasonable place for a Valentine's date, I think. Seems quite nice for that. A little area for the staff to meet you and then take you to your table. A few different options. These tables are perhaps not the nicest in the game, but they've got kind of the right restaurant style, and then we can have seats for 2 and for larger groups as well, in a matching style, whereas if I went with a different shape, I wouldn't have had the 2 different sizes at the same style. Unfortunately, these do actually have drawers underneath them. We'll kind of ignore that, and I've tried to hide them where I can. Last minute, I thought to put a bathroom on this side, and it's just a single foundation, but it does the job. Tucked in, fairly basic, so the customers have got somewhere to go if they need to, and just in case they have a bad day, that window will probably look very, very appealing. It's actually 2 half walls, that backside, so the top one is a window and the bottom one is just solid. Obviously, the wallpaper hides that. But yeah, I thought that was amusing. But a little Nuka-Cola display rack there, which I think might actually be on backwards. I'm going to have to check that. But I thought it made a little bit of interesting style, as that's kind of dead space at the end of the... It's not really a bar, it's more of a serving hatch kind of vibe there. And yeah, really, really pleased with how this came out. Use the new phone to put that up by the cash register there. So that kind of completed that little corner. So to get these floating bar pieces at the top there, this is the Tipsy Tom bar set that I've used here. I used an idea that I borrowed from Kiki B in one of her videos, and that is to place the two bar pieces one directly on top of the other, line them up as close to perfect as you can, and then move them on top of your camp unit, and then activate and replace the lower piece. And as with merging, I'll throw a link for how to do that around somewhere. This is the same basic process, except that when you're on the camp unit, the top piece goes up instead of down. So you can kind of go in the opposite direction, which allowed me to do this. Kiki B did suggest that blueprinting them and then placing the blueprints should allow things to snap together neatly. Didn't seem to work for me, the blueprinting system, so I had to actually make each individual column, as it were, separately. But we got there in the end with a lot of patience and eyeballing, and the result is definitely worth it, I think. Heading on into the kitchen, I really like the idea of doing an open plan kitchen for this restaurant so you can see it from the front. I thought about closing it off for simplicity's sake, but I'm really glad I didn't. It looks really cool, I think. Nice central island there with a couple of, the meat cutting blocks that I've merged into the top of the worktops to create kind of chopping boards. And look pretty good. Done the same thing with the cookers at the back here, the stoves. In this case, these are ones that don't work, but they give the right impression nonetheless. And they're merging quite nicely, which kind of counteracts the fact that they're kind of the wrong colour. There's actually a white set of this kitchen stuff that's on the current scoreboard, the current season, which I think is 15, I think. And I haven't quite got to that yet, but it might have been a better fit, I don't know. Then you get the colour contrast here with the wall, which is quite nice. Take a quick look out back. There's a couple of bits and pieces out here. There's my camp unit. I have put my root cellar shelter down here, basically because one of the drawbacks to this style of camp, as cool as it is and as thematic as it is it doesn't really work as a camp, because there's no workbenches in it. You know, weapons workbench in the middle of a restaurant's a bit odd. So they're all down in my shelter. So that's why that's out the back there. There's a couple of other bits around the back, my collectron and stuff, but that's not very exciting. So we'll head back on in. We've got a pot wash station on the right and a tea machine, which I think is off the current season as well. Very, very cool. Got that down there. And a load of stuff on the walls as well. I actually had to pull out a bunch of the lower cabinets and stuff, the worktops, in order to get the wall decoration on and then put them back again. But it makes the place look a little bit more interesting than plain walls. New meat locker is the current Fallout First reward. Sadly, the door does not close. Decided to leave the door off on that entryway there because I felt it just fit a little bit better. It looked a little bit, yeah, it just felt better. Going through this door, however, we have the entranceway up towards the flat, and I put a little office in here for the manager. There really isn't anywhere else to put one, other than maybe in the flat, but you'll see why I didn't do that in a minute. And yeah, makes use of this otherwise relatively dead space, so I kind of like it for that. Gone for plain, kind of not particularly appealing wallpaper to me, but it looks like a back of house area to me, so I think that works quite well. Punch card machine is there more so that the staff have somewhere to punch in than for actual player utility, because all my workbenches are in my shelter, so don't really need one up here, but still, there it is nonetheless. Got a hoover down there for the floor, and I hid the safe underneath the stairs as well, just to make it that little bit harder to find. It's not exactly that hard to find, but still. If you're wondering what those weird noises in the background are, by the way, my ally Yasmin, who we'll see in a moment, has a real fondness for using the shower in this camp for some reason. I've never seen her do that before, but she's using it a lot today, so there we go. And here we are, the owner's little flat home bedsit thing, kind of. It's not really a bedsit, but it's a very small flat. We have a little kitchen tucked in the corner, got some displays on the right there. Decided to go a bit more overboard with the Sugar Bombs fridge for a private space rather than downstairs where I kept it a little bit more muted. A bit more business-like. Squeezed Jasmine's cooking station in the corner there. Unfortunately, I did try merging it in so that it blended a little bit better. Unfortunately, it didn't want to do that for whatever reason. So, instead we have it just sitting on the floor and at the wrong height. Can't have everything, I suppose, but the colour matches a little bit better than the alternatives. That's the one drawback to having the white set that's currently on the season. We won't have a matching cooker for that. Anyway, rather like the decoration in here. It's comfy, cosy, kind of homely little flat vibes. Got table's maybe a tiny little bit big, the dining table, but it looks pretty cool and there's lots of detail on it. And I added a couple of candles as well. A little gramophone in the corner there. I was debating on where I should put the laundry facilities, but they kind of tied the kitchen together quite nicely there, which is why I put one on the end there. It'd be a bit annoying having them going off in the middle of your living room, but it wouldn't be that much better in the bathroom with it being right there anyway, so I thought the visuals were a bit more important. I like my little sitting area here. I did consider using the leather couches for this, but they were just a bit too big, so I went for the black ones as there's a little bit more room to move around there. And we'll head on to the bathroom. Wonder if maybe I should have gone for cleaner tiles on the floors. Everything else is pretty clean, so maybe I should have done. Oh well. Either way, I think it looks alright. Fairly basic. Put a fluorescent light in here, shower and a bath at the end. I used the same trick that I used to set up the bar downstairs to lift the sink here up ever so slightly using the rug rather than any other piece, so that the idea was that it wouldn't clip through the ceiling below, which they normally do, and it's quite annoying. In order to stop it actually clipping through, I'd have had to bump it up one click higher, which I could certainly have done, but then it would have looked weirdly disproportionately spindly and kind of too high, so it didn't quite go the way I was hoping that one. It didn't come out as well as I was hoping, but otherwise, pretty chuffed with this. Lots of detail, lots of bits of colour. I like the wallpaper as well, the Art Deco set I decided to use up here. It's nice. A bit of a contrast with the bright, vivid carpet down there. I do want some more nice carpet options, I have to admit. I would really like to see that. There's not many actually nice carpet options in the game. There's a few, but yeah. A little bit more variety is always welcome. Wardrobe there is one of the new stash boxes that I picked up recently. Quite happy about that. Used that in a build not so long ago as well. And the bookcase is actually a stash box as well, which is also quite cool. Got extra little bits and pieces to dress that up. A couple of extra bits and pieces on the display as well. Yeah, got the blind in the corner there, which doesn't technically quite fit. A lot of flamethrowing had to be used to cram everything into that corner, because it's quite a tight fit. But I'm quite happy with the results overall. Almost looks pre-war. Almost. A little bit scruffy, but almost looks pre-war. Definitely happy with the result. As far as a looks like it belongs build and is quite clean and tidy goes, I'm quite happy. As I say, normally I go for more functional camps, specifically that they are, full of workbenches and stuff like that. But obviously that doesn't work so well for this theme, and it was nice to do, and it goes well with that kind of Valentine's time of year as well. And once this idea kind of came into my head, I was like, I really want to have a crack at this, so here we are. Hopefully that signals the end of my camp building equivalent of writer's block that I've had the last couple of weeks. Fingers crossed. So yeah, really quite happy with this. I think I'll have to head out and get a whole bunch more of those flowers from my other camps as well, and make a point of not deleting too many of them, because they are quite a pain to gather, but yeah, quite like this. Do wish Yasmin would leave that shower alone. She's in and out of there every 5 minutes. And opening my doors as well. What can you do? That's the price we pay for having allies wandering around our camps. Never any closed doors. Unless I lock them, which I could do, but then nobody can have a look around upstairs, can they? And that would be very sad. But there we go. Hope you folks enjoyed that one. I'm really chuffed with how this came out. Definitely like this camp. If you did like it, please consider dropping subs and likes. I've got tons and tons of camp videos up on the channel, so if you want to have a look around a few more, lots to look at. Down below, as always, social media links, merch store, channel memberships. If you want to support the channel that way, I really appreciate it. Massively helps out. And if you get a chance, join us for live streams as well. We are, of course, playing Fallout 76. And we're checking out Enshrouded and having a really good time building bases and surviving in that particular game as well. There's a whole lot of base building stuff coming out at the moment. It's really cool. Different games and stuff, so I hope you check those out. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you all very soon.